Bitcoin busted down through support 4 days ago, and it seems it is continuing straight down. If you're also in altcoins, as I am, your portfolio value has taken more than just a few steps back, which is as much fun as diving off a diving board and finding out the pool is just about 4 feet. Now, the bigger question on everyone's mind is this really the beginning of a bear market? And therefore, are we in for much larger decreases? Well, truthfully, as gloomy as things look, and they look bad, are there some reasons to smile amidst all this pain? Well, there are two, and I will share them with you today. Welcome to the Crypto Rain channel. I'm your host, Jay Rain, and if you like money in crypto and you're looking for a real investor take on the crypto market, join the Rainmaker family by liking this video and turning on that all notifications button. Now, special note, I'm not a financial advisor. I'm a crypto investor myself. I do own or plan to own most of what I talk about on this channel because I don't talk about crypto projects that I don't believe in. Special thanks to our Patreon members. We do have a private Discord that our Patreon members get access to. Now make it rain on that like button. Strap in for the show. Let's bring in our producer, D Money.
Yo, Jay, how's it going today, man?
Good. I spent
right?
processing what I was watching happening.
Yeah. For me, I'm like, yeah, like it's pretty good. Like, oh man, it was a brutal weekend though, and yeah, to wake up and Bitcoin's under 33,000, I'm like, but hey, that's why I'm here. I want to hear what I have to smile about.
Yeah, the pain might not be over. There might be more. I'm going to give some good comparisons. One of the great things about being in the crypto space is 4.5 years. And like in general investing markets for going on 25 years now, is that you've seen this kind of stuff before, and it gives you some perspective. And I want to share that with our audience because I know a lot of the audience have been in crypto for about a year. So you probably haven't been through this kind of thing before. Generally, is it fair to say we came into space because we wanted to make life-changing gains, or like one of my good friends, he is specifically here for life-changing gains. And depending on when you started, many are far in the red from what they put in, especially after this massive dump. And it's periods like this that wash out the rest of what the crypto space calls weak hands. Now, weak hands are often good people who came into the crypto space with unrealistic expectations of what it was really like. And they get washed out when they find out how difficult becoming wealthy through crypto is, and are now finding that the road has some chasms in it that were unexpected. And this weekend, and possibly this week, is one of those chasms. Now, let's take a look at where Bitcoin is now, where it broke down, and where are some levels that might find support at, and what are some of the possibilities of where it goes from here. So let me share my chart, and what you're seeing here is essentially what's happened over the last 2 years in Bitcoin, right? So we had this massive run up here, and it peaked out right around 65,000, came back down all the way to 30,000. And people then were saying, oh my gosh, it's going to go all the way to 22,000, maybe 18,000, maybe 13,000. And yet it didn't. It came very sharply down here, very sharp. Bam, hit this resistance, and then it was back off to the races, setting a new all-time high of almost 70,000, and then coming back down. Now, it was trading in this pattern here, and it was trading very well in this pattern, but with the equities market tanking because of some concerns that the US and the world might go into a recession. Well, interestingly enough, there's a lot more correlation between Bitcoin and equities or stocks than you would think. Why is there tons of correlation? Well, because a lot of the funds that are trading, or the traders that are trading Bitcoin, trade it like a tech stock. To them, that's what they see it as. And so the correlation is somewhat high. Bitcoin broke down through this. Now it's trading right at that resistance line we talked about the other day, that if it broke below this was the next major resistance line. And sure enough, it's hit right there. Now, could it break through this? It could. Sometimes these falls are very steep, because as longs get liquidated, that sometimes then that means they then have to sell, and it cascades. Now, eventually these sharp runs down, they end. And what does that add up to? Well, we'll see. If it breaks down through here, It's then going to hit some more resistance at this previous level around 29,000. If it breaks through that, it might go down to 24,000. And then the next level is about 20,000, which is our previous high here, where there's some massive support here. So do I expect it'll break below 20,000? I don't. I'd be shocked if it does. But this is one of the reasons why I stopped trading on margin with crypto, is because events like this, even if you're very cautious and you have low leverage longs, and even if you put stops in, even with the stop, you usually make a long loss on something that long term should be bullish. Now, you've heard nothing but bad news, and I imagine any other videos you watch are probably all super bearish, and that's okay. There's lots of reasons to be bearish, but there are some reasons to be bullish and put a nice big smile on our face. Yeah, I think there's two. Now, we've looked at where things are and the possible ways that it could go. Now, would you join me on a journey back to the time of March 2020? And let me share my chart here. So we're going back to March of 2020. Now, I'm going to take you back into what the bear market really felt like. And the bear market was pretty depressing because I was new in 2017. I hadn't learned about the market cycles, and that it was pretty common for Bitcoin to reach an exponential high of its previous high and then retrace significantly, retraced about 85%. And so I was caught off guard by the big retrace from when Bitcoin peaked out here to 20,000. And about this period, I realized what was really happening, which is, okay, I learned about this 4-year cycle roughly that happens in Bitcoin, and more about altcoin dominance or Bitcoin dominance versus the altcoins, and really was educating myself. I was like, okay, so we're in a long recessionary period on crypto, and by long, probably not longer than 2 years is what I realized here. And so I thought, okay, I'm going to take this time to learn, and I'm going to continue increasing how much I have in crypto while prices are down, and I'm going to soak in and absorb and learn as much as I can. So I really went to work studying and watching everything that happened, and I remember pretty much most of the steps along this journey because I was like diving deep into it to educate myself and grow as much as I could. And so we hit this big move downward here, and Bitcoin dropped all the way to about 3,200. It broke a little bit below that, but just for round numbers, we're going to call it 3,200 at the bottom. And you see this nice rounded bottom, and then Bitcoin started taking off, right? And it's like, wow. And it had this really early pump in the middle of the bear market, and it pumped from 3,200 all the way to 14,000. I was thinking to myself, why is this happening? This shouldn't be happening so soon. This is really odd. It shouldn't be going up like this yet. It's not ready. It needs more pain. Well, more pain was coming, and it was too early. And because it pumped so early, it had this big sideways trading followed by another massive decrease. Now, when did this massive decrease happen? Well, happened when the stock market tanked. And because traders were trading Bitcoin like a stock, like a tech stock, Bitcoin tanked all the way down to here when the pandemic fears reached their highs, right? And so it tanked all the way back down to about 3,800. And I remember it being around here, and there was some fears about the stock market going down. And I was thinking, well, I don't know that crypto should be that correlated with the stock market, but we'll see how this shakes out. Sure enough, as the stock sell-off happened, a lot of the traders sold off their Bitcoin too, and it tanked all the way to 3,800. And then, actually, that was some great news, because when it hit that level, it was then at the true bottom. And that's exciting news. And that was a great reason to smile, right? Because this early pump caused this big decrease, which then signaled the true bottom that we were looking at. And isn't that a good reason to smile? I think it is. Now, there was a lot of liquidations that happened in here, and this event specifically caused a lot of liquidations. and it created what is called capitulation. And this capitulation washed out all but the strongest of hands, and most investors capitulated, got frustrated, and left, leaving the whales and the very strong hands to make some massive gains in the year that followed. Now, I'm sure you already caught it, but that is reason to smile number one. Let's take a look at reason to smile number two. Might there be some games afoot? Interesting data brought to us by Miles J. Creative on Twitter. And if you haven't already followed me, you can follow me on @CryptoRain with 2 N's on Twitter. And today I shared this. So if you find me at CryptoRain.2Ns, I forwarded this out. And interesting, he's been following very closely Bitfinex. Now, what's interesting is that many whales trade leverage on Bitfinex. And let's look at something really interesting. That is the number of longs, specifically on Bitfinex, which is where the whales play. And if you go back to July of last year, what was the market sentiment? So we're going to look at July of last year. And guess when this bottom was? July of last year. Isn't that interesting? Going back to this chart, when were all the Bitfinex longs at an all-time high? July of last year. Look what's happening now. Now, if you had a magic wand and could rewind time, if you go back to July of last year, what would you do? Would you be selling or would you be buying? What was the market sentiment back then, right? Well, it was so bearish, right? And it was finally getting tons of people to turn bearish. And yet, that was the bottom. What's the market sentiment right now? Same thing, right? So is this the bottom? If it's not, I suggest it's pretty close to that. Curious, isn't it? Just thought I'd provide that perspective to you and give you 2 reasons to smile amidst all this pain, because everyone's bearish right now. And what do? I'm a contrarian investor. What do I do when everyone gets bearish? I get more bullish. Does it mean I'm human? Does it mean I'm not affected by other sentiment? I am a little bit, but I'm a little bit numb to it. I've been doing it for a long time. So it just doesn't impact me as much as it used to be. I followed what the major crowd says before, and it rarely ended very well for me. So now I trade contrary to everyone else. So I did just buy some more, and I continue buying. Can it go lower? Yes, this is specifically why. Number one, I trade with funds that I can't afford to lose, because it allows you the freedom to be patient when you need to be patient, because sometimes it keeps going down longer than you think. Number two, I don't trade on margin. I did trade on margin 2 years ago, and specifically what I showed you in March of 2020, and I had a very low leverage long on Bitcoin, lost 1.6 Bitcoin because I thought we were near the bottom, and I was wrong on that. And was I right overall? Yes, I was very right in the long term. In the short term, though, my long got liquidated. I didn't put in a stop. And I just learned that just for me, leverage trading isn't for me. I know some people are interested in it. I might be interested in it when I've been doing crypto trading for about 30 years, when I can be completely dispassionate about it. For now, it just makes me too impatient. And patience has been the major thing that has helped me make millions in crypto in the past 3 years. So I hope you enjoyed this content. Are you ready to be a Rainmaker and join the Rainmaker family? I call our family the Navy SEALs of crypto. And specifically, I call them the Navy SEALs of crypto because Navy SEALs are not just above average, but the best. They don't easily quit when it gets hard. In fact, they have an amazing filtering process through the training that so many wash out of, where they're taught to be tenacious and hold in even when it's rough. And in crypto, look, I mean, how hard is crypto? Well, truthfully, if we're putting in 15 minutes a day or so, learning day after day, over time, that will put you in the top 1 to 2% with your understanding of the crypto market and investing principles. And if you use that knowledge and understanding towards smart investment principles, and you put yourself in a position where you have the ability to be patient, well, I think your journey in crypto is going to be a great one. Join us. We'll see you soon. Remember, no rain, no gain.
Came into the space chasing all of the gains, chasing the pumps and all of the hype trains. But like in life, right before you could, was told to buy when it was pouring like a rain, make it should.